What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again for Monday's 10-game slate. An interesting one here. I got it broken down for you. 6 of my favorite plays, my money 6 across the board. Not the normal, elite pitching option you see at the top. And you see Jake Arrieta at the top. You know it's going to be a very interesting slate here. So I got to figure it out, though, for you. So drop a like in the video before we get going. I greatly appreciate that so I can keep these videos coming to you every single day for the MLB. Let's try to get over 100 likes. If we can do that, thank you so much. And let's just hop into the video. So, like I said, I'm not normally as inclined as I am to pay up for these pitchers. I think there's great value in some of these mid-range guys. So for my first pitcher, I'm going to go with Jeff Samardzija here at 8,700. Great matchup against San Diego. Tough start to the season, but he was coming off that injury, so a little bit of rust there in the first 2 games. And I think this is a great spot for him to really get his confidence going against the San Diego lineup that is very easy to pitch on, especially against right-handed pitchers. Against both sides, really. They just strike out a ton. Looking at the K rate against right-handed pitchers on the year, it's a 28% K rate, so striking out a ton. And he's in San Fran, a great pitching park there, so he should feel pretty comfortable pitching here at home in San Fran against this lineup. And he was very solid last year at a 24% K rate and ERA below 4. And his xFIP was below 4, and his Sierra was also solid. So he had some good stuff last year, and I think he can get back to that against San Diego here. Very capable matchup, and I think he'll go a little bit deeper in the game. His pitches did go up around 6, even though he pitched only 3.2 innings. But I think he can go over 90 pitches here and get him at kind of a discount because he was struggling so much to begin the year off that injury. But he's going to get it going here tonight, so lock him in there. And for my second guy, Eduardo Rodriguez, again, I mentioned him for his last start, I believe, and he got 14 DraftKings points. Not too bad, but he wasn't able to get his normal strikeout stuff, which really hurt him. And Toronto hit him a lot harder than I thought they were going to. They had a home run off him, got some other hits, so I think he'll bounce back here. His pitch total has been very solid, over 100 the last 3 starts, so that's good to see. He's going pretty deep in these games. And against Kansas City, honestly, it's a easier matchup here against this lineup because they've been striking out a lot against left-handed pitchers. Not really at all against righties, but 25% K rate against lefties. Against righties, it's around 15%, so they're struggling a lot more against these lefties. One of their best hitters is Mike Moustakas. He's a left-handed batter, so you got that lefty-lefty split, which can help you with Eduardo as well. Also, due to as a lefty batter, he struggles a lot against lefties, so that kind of eliminates some of the power they have with those 2 lefties. Vegas is only projecting the Royals 3.5 runs. And also in Boston here, they have some great pitching conditions. The wind is actually blowing in, which can help them. And it's going to be pretty cold in the 40s in this game. So Eduardo Rodriguez, I like him a lot here. Lock him in there. And for my first hitter, we're going to go back with Joey Votto. The guy was on a power surge at the end of last week. Kind of struggling, coming down back to earth recently. But I think he's going to get it going here again. Going against Milwaukee's pitcher, Chacin, whatever. He's allowing a lot of home runs throughout his career. Actually, does some more against left-handed batters. It's looking at last year, and actually, no, looking at this year, he's allowing 1.74 home runs per 9, and good hard contact rate against lefties, and only a 5% K rate. So you don't really have to worry that much about Votto's getting any strikeouts here, and I think he can hit for power against him. He's 6 for 18 with 2 home runs already against him in his career. So a solid spot here for Votto from the get it back going against the right-handed pitcher. We know he's dominant against right-handed pitchers. Last time I went with him, he got us 30 DraftKings points. So hopefully he can return us some great value again here. Still a little bit cheaper than we normally see Votto. He's normally around the 5,000 range, but since he had that slow start, his price was around that 4,000 range. It's starting to creep back up to 5,000, but we're going to stick with this price before it gets back up to that 5,000 territory. So I still like the discount. Good matchup here. Lock him in there. For my second hitter, we're going to go with another guy here that has great splits against the pitcher hand that's going to be pitching against or hitting against. Kyle Freeland against Chris Bryant here, 4,900. So we got a lefty pitcher against Bryant. Very good against lefty pitchers throughout his career. Just looking at this year, a 273 ISO and a 524 WOBA against him. So he's hitting with tremendous power. Also, he's just getting on base a ton, hitting some very good hits for the analytic-wise. It's a great run-producing hit. So that's a great spot for Chris Bryant against the lefty. Freeland does surrender most of his home runs to right-handed batters. And on top of that, great weather conditions. We got some thin air, so the ball is going to travel well with these hits in the air for Chris Bryant. And there's also 16-mile-an-hour winds blowing to left field. So if Chris Bryant can just hit one in the air towards the left field side of the ballpark, whatever, then the ball is going to carry very well for him. And against lefties, he's just extremely good. So everything is kind of adding up here for a great game for Chris Bryant. He has been struggling recently. His price went down a little bit, but I don't really buy that too much into like a hot hitter. I think just every single game it kind of can change for these hitters. So I think you connect with one here against Freeland. So go ahead and lock him in there. For my third hitter, we're going to go with Hoskins here at 5,200, going against Dan Straley. The big thing is here that the BVP is absolutely off the chart to this matchup. He's 6 for 8 against Dan Straley. That's great, but if you look at what he's done in those 8 at-bats, he has a double and 3 home runs. So in 8 at-bats, he has 4 extra base hits against Dan Straley. So he 100% has his number, and Dan Straley is a guy that does allow a lot of hard contact and a lot of just home runs throughout his career. If you look at his numbers last year in 2017 against right-handed batters, he allowed 1.92 home runs per 9. This is actually his first start of the season. He was coming off an injury, I believe, before into the start, so Hoskins can get him at a good spot where he's going to be a little bit rusty and get another home run off him, I think, here in this game. We know that Hoskins has great power. He can get back to this against another right-handed pitcher that he has dominated before. So Hoskins, he's going to go deep. Lock him in there. So that is the core 5. You got Samardzija, Eduardo Rodriguez, Joey Votto, Chris Bryant, and Hoskins. All those guys have great splits against the handedness of pitcher, and these pitchers are in great spots against these lackluster lineups. So for my cheap guy, not terribly cheap, but actually he's not cheap at all. But I just wanted to go with another elite hitter on this slate that I like a lot, that you can just go with these cheap pitchers again here. Ryan Braun, another guy with great splits against lefty pitchers. And against this lefty pitcher, Finnegan, he is not a great pitcher. He's 3 for 7 with a triple and 1 home run against them already. A small BVP, but still, that's great power against them. And then if you look at his splits from last season, he had a 47% hard hit rate and 253 ISO against lefties. So he's definitely dominant and elite against lefty pitchers. And he's hitting pretty well this season, especially for power. 5 home runs already in the year. I think he can get one off Finnegan here against the lefty. Just an elite hitter against lefties. And Finnegan, not that great of a pitcher. So Ryan Braun here at 4,500. Nice little price. He has huge upside in this matchup. Lock him in there. So that is it. Leaves you with 36.25 remaining per player. And you got 4 elite batters on the slate. And also some pitchers that I think honestly have like the same upside nearly as these top guys. And they're saving like around $2,000 or even $3,000 compared to the top pitchers on the slate. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely drop a like if you did got anything out of value on this one. Yeah, and that's it. Subscribe if you haven't already to the channel to get these plays every single day. Hope you guys enjoyed. Good luck tonight on Monday. Slate, 10-game slate, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.